All right, hello everyone. How are we doing today? Perfect, perfect. I see a couple thumbs up. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. Hello. All righty. All right, everyone, I hope you had a good week. We are going to get started as soon as my screen loads. Come on. Perfect. Okay, so welcome to week 4, and this week we're going to be going over advanced chatting and advanced functions on your phone. So a quick overview of the agenda today. Like I said, we'll be going over advanced texting. We'll talk about how to schedule a response, send a quick response, send emojis and GIFs, speech to text, semi-media, and keyword options. We're also going to be going over advanced calling techniques such as merging calls and speed dial. We'll also watch a video about Duo, which is our video chatting application that is typically used for Samsung and Android devices. We will touch upon password and security settings and advanced settings. So does anybody have any questions about the agenda before we get started? And I can't see everyone when I'm sharing my screen. So if you have a question, just go ahead and unmute yourself and start speaking because I have a limited view of everyone right now. All right, so we're going to go ahead and begin with advanced texting. So yes, perfect. So there are a couple of really cool advanced texting techniques that we can use. And one of the first ones is quick response. So depending on the Android device you have, you should have a quick response option. So the option will either be right next to your text box. So if you go to your text messages and you see the little text box here, there should be something that looks like a window pane or something that might have like a settings option right around in this area somewhere. It might be on this side too. And then you should see quick response. So quick response is a really good way to send a quick message that is pre-downloaded onto your phone. And if you don't have it in your text messages, it might be that your Android device has a quick message option, for when people call you. So for example, if someone was calling you and you decline their phone call, there is an option that says decline with message, and they'll have pre-text messages such as I can't talk right now, please text, or I'm in a meeting, I'll call you back later. This is the same way of getting to that quick messaging system from your text messages. So there's two different ways, either when you decline a call or to go into your text message settings and look for quick response. You can also edit your quick responses. So if there was a specific message that you wanted to save as a quick response, you should be able to do that in your quick response settings. And then we have scheduling a text. So right next to quick response, we have schedule a message. And that is an option to send out a message at a scheduled time in advance. So if you wanted to make sure to text your friends first thing in the morning, but you weren't sure if you were going to be up, you can schedule that text message here. Now we also have emojis and GIFs. So just to touch on that, you would go back to your text message is, and then you would see your text message box here, like where you're going to start typing your message. And there should be a smiley face or some sort of, and I can pull it up on my phone real fast. So it might look like this on your phone. So here I have a plus sign. On their phone, they have a smiley face. On other phones, it might look like a paint palette, but you would just go ahead and tap that. And then you're going to have a few options here. So clicking this smiley face here is how I would get to my emojis. So I would just click that smiley face, and then I could scroll through my emojis like this. And I can pick them out, and then I would send a message as normal. You can also look for GIFs right here. And GIFs are like a moving picture or like a snapshot of a film or perhaps a movie, and you can search your GIFs based on keywords. So here is another way that the GIF might appear on your device. So the smiley face always typically means emojis. And then if you see this GIF symbol, that will be your GIFs. And like I said, you can go ahead and type in keywords to search for a GIF of your choosing. And it will be like a little animated picture that is sent to your friend or family. All right, does anybody have any questions about emojis or GIFs or scheduling a text, quick responses?
Alex, I have a question. This is Eileen. When you talked about the quick response, I have a Android Samsung Galaxy S10, and I cannot find quick response or schedule message or that kind of thing. Would I have to go into my settings because I don't see it anywhere in the message field?
Yes, so your quick response might be one of two places. And I can go ahead and see. Let's see. Yes, okay. So when you are looking at your text messages, there's a setting option right here at the top that has the 3 dots. And if you click on that, there's going to be a drop down that says settings. And then you can look at your settings and find scheduled text somewhere in here. And for quick responses, they're not always in your settings. Sometimes your quick response option only comes up when you have an incoming call. So if you have an incoming call and you can't talk to that person right away, it might say decline or decline with message. And then you would click decline with message and it would provide you with the quick response options. So it might not necessarily be visible on your phone through the settings. It might just be not through the settings. You should be able to find it through the settings, but if you're looking for this window option here, it might not be on your particular device. And that's why Androids they're all kind of different depending on what you have. And especially the newer phones, depending on what you have, they might not have these options right there. They might be other places like your settings or only when you're receiving an incoming call.
Do you know where in settings you would look to it? Because in the drop down, that is not one of my selections.
Okay, yes. So let me go ahead and check out my settings. And it should be right under, just like texting. Actually, let me go ahead and look that up. Would you mind saying after the lesson today, and I can look through the phone real fast and try to find that with you?
Thank you. I'm sorry to take the time. Sure.
No worries. That's an absolutely great question. Every phone is a little different, and I just recently switched phones, so. Okay.
Hello, Alex.
Yeah.
I'm new and I'm kind of in the middle of what you're doing, so I haven't done a lot of this, but I was having the same problem that the lady ahead of you said, because I have a Samsung Android and I didn't know where this was. So could I stay a little later and maybe I could at least find it on my phone for later, but I'll basically just be listening because I didn't get the first lessons. I'm just kind of trying to get a little info for the next time.
Absolutely. And all of our recordings will be up on our YouTube page. So if you missed the first few classes, you can always catch up with us on our YouTube page.
While you're on the subject of that, can you send us a link or something? Because I'm embarrassed to tell you how long I spent on YouTube. You keep saying that, and seniors, I don't know where to find it. So that's how bad it is.
Yeah, I will go ahead and link that sometime in the chat.
What is the YouTube page?
It should just be Community Partnership on Aging. So if you go into the YouTube search bar and you search Community Partnership on Aging, I think ours should be right at the top. And it looks like Carolyn did link the YouTube channel in the chat.
Oh. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so advanced texting continued. So next we have our speech to text. And when you go into your phone settings, and I know I just saw it, there should be an option for text to chat. And then if that is enabled on your device after you go into your settings, and you can always search your settings at the top for specific keywords that you're looking for. So if I did speech to text, it should go ahead and pop up right there. Yes. So text to speech output right at the bottom after I put in the keyword text in my settings. And then you would want to tap and hold the microphone located next to the keyboard here. So it looks like this little microphone here. And then you can go ahead and speak your message into your device, either your phone or your tablet device, and it should read your audio and transfer it to text. And then you would go ahead and click send message. Using the same button, if your speech to text was disabled, you could send an audio recording. So when your speech to text is enabled, you would use this button and it should translate your text into speech. But when it is not enabled, and if you click this, it if you press and hold, it will record your audio. So right here, is my little microphone icon. And if I were to start pressing that, so if I were to start pressing that, as you can see, it's starting to record my voice. It's at 4 seconds, 5 seconds. And then you could slide this over to cancel, or you could send the message by simply letting go of that microphone and then sending the message as usual. And then, of course, you can send videos as well. So to send a video, we're looking at this button right here. It looks like a camera with a little picture behind it. That is the button for your gallery. So if you wanted to attach anything from your gallery, whether it be a photo or a video, you would go ahead and click this button, scroll through your gallery until you find the selected photo or video you would like to send, and then you would go ahead and send that text message. If you were to click this plus sign here, you're going to be met with a couple of different options, which is what mine looks like when I press this. You have GIF searches. You can attach stickers. You can update your location here. And you can share a contact or share a file. So there's a few different options here as well. Now you can also switch the keyboard that you're using, which I feel like might be the case in this circumstance. For those of you who are not finding quick response and schedule a message, depending on the phone that you have, they have different keyboards, which is why this makes it kind of difficult to kind of make universal. But depending on your device, you will have a default keyboard, and then you have other keyboard options. So way, way, way at the bottom of your text message, your keyboard right here. You see this mini keyboard here? And it's also in this picture. It looks like a very, very, very tiny keyboard. And you would go ahead and click that. And then it's going to ask you to choose the keyboard input that you would like. So you have the Google board, Google voice typing, which would be your speech to text as well, or your LG or Microsoft or Samsung keyboard. So changing your keyboard will have different options depending on the keyboard that you're using. I know that can be a little confusing. You can also download other keyboard options from the Galaxy or the Google App Store. Typically, there are a lot of themes in the Galaxy Store. So for your Android devices, you can change the theme of your device. And what I mean by that is that your icons and your messages and your display is set to a default theme. But if you went into the Galaxy App Store and you looked up themes, there would be a variety of different themes that your phone can do. So it would change the icons on your device, and it would change the way that your device's display would be set up. So instead of having the regular square icons, one theme might have flower icons, or it might have pink icons, or it might have, you know, just different types of themes that you can choose with Android devices. So does anybody have any questions about this? All right. So now we're going to go on to advanced calling. And there are two main features regarding advanced calling that I really want to touch upon. And the first one would be merging calls. So if you wanted to have more than one individual on the same phone call, you can merge a call with more than one person, right? So if you went ahead and called a friend or a family member, on your screen, on your call screen, there's going to be this option here that says merge calls, or it might have a plus sign that says add a call. And so while that person is on hold, the original person that you have called, they will be put on hold while you merge calls with the next person that you would like to be on that phone call. I hope that makes sense. So you would dial out first, and then on your screen, on your call screen, you should see something that looks like merge calls or add a call. And then when you do that, the person that you originally called will be put on hold until the other person answers their phone, and then it would merge all three of you guys together in the same conversation. So you won't see merge calls unless you're actively dialing or talking to someone originally. We also have speed dial. So on your device, there should be, if you're going to your call, if you go to your call screen, so your phone icon, so if I were here and I clicked my phone icon, up at the top right-hand corner right here, there should be 3 dots, and it should have a speed dial, send message, default screen, and call screen. So just like this little drop down here, it should have speed dial numbers. And then you would go ahead and select speed dial, and then it will bring up a list of your contacts, and you will scroll through your contacts until you find the desired contact that you would like to assign the speed dial number to. And then tap the arrow in the left corner to go back to your phone screen. So it should be set up. And then to use the speed dial feature, you would press and hold the number associated with that contact. So if I assigned Clara to the number 2, I would go up to speed dial numbers, I would scroll through and find Clara, I would assign number 2 to her, and then if I wanted to call her, I would press and hold the number 2. So anybody have any questions about advanced calling? Okay. So next we have video chatting, and Duo is perhaps the most famous or the most popular, I should say, video chatting feature on Android devices. So I'm sure many of you have heard about FaceTime for iPhones. Androids have Duo. So we're going to go ahead and watch a short video on how to use it.
How-to video. I'm going to show you Google
Can you all hear him?
Duo. It's a video messaging app from Google. And what it does is it uses your data or Wi-Fi to make
Can you guys hear his voice when he's speaking? Okay.
video or phone calls.
Yes.
And you can also send messages.
Perfect,
So I
thank
want to
you.
show you everything this app has to offer in this video. The nice thing about this app
All right, so we're going to skip forward a little.
settings that really make the app more enjoyable to use. Let's jump into the phone and take a look at Google Duo. The app is available for iOS, for Android, for tablets. You could even connect to it on duo.google.com on the web too on your desktop. But we'll jump into the mobile version in this video. Again, it's the same for Android and iOS. And I'll go ahead and open the app And when you get into it for the first time, I reinstalled mine to show you, you have to give it the usual access to microphone, camera, and contacts and notifications. So I give it all the access on the first page. Then you have to verify your phone number because it does send you a text message to verify your identity. So again, you do have to have a phone number associated with it that can receive SMS messages. And then you'll get into the homepage here where you could just press OK. Again, I'll walk you through sending video messages as well as making one-on-one and group calls. And this is basically the inside of the app. So let me show you two things that you need to know once you're on the homepage. If you slide down, you go to the screen where you could record video messages and voice messages and notes. You see those three options: voice, video, and notes. Those are the three options you have on this page. This page is not for making calls. It's for recording messages and sending those pre-recorded messages to someone else. So think about it like using your text message on your phone. So I'll show you.
Yeah, so I hope everyone caught that. So this screen is not for calling people, but rather for like attaching a media, kind of like text messages. So Duo has an ability to send a message or to make a call. It has both features, and you can send a message either via text or via video or via audio. So there's three different ways that you can send just a pre-recorded message, and then you can also speak to them, call them live.
Show you this for a second, but basically it's very straightforward. You have your camera where you could rotate on the left. So this will basically just flip the camera from the front facing to the one facing me. You have on the right side your photos. If you give it access to your photos, you could send photos that way. And then in the middle is just record. And as you press record, it's going to record the message. And as soon as you press stop, it's going to play it back. And as you press record, it's going to record the message. And as soon as you press stop, it's going to play it back. So let me turn this video down, but here I could re-record if I don't like what I'm hearing, or I could go ahead and press next. I could also add text, and I could have a marker on top too if I wanted to add those options here. I'll show you those on the other page, but if I press next here, it's going to pull up my contacts. I only added one on top to show you, or my contacts that are on Google Duo, or I could invite contacts. But we'll get into contacts in a second. So this is basically how you would send a message. Just select the person right here, put a check mark next to their name, and then press send. It's that simple to send a video message. If you go to the voice option, it's the same thing. You press the microphone, record, and then send. And there's also the note option. Let me go over here. When you're in the notes, you could basically type out your note. Your note is here. And you could change the font on top. There's multiple options to choose from. And you could just use your two fingers to resize and rotate the font if you want to. And you could change the color of this page with the color palette option in the corner here. If you press it, it basically changes your background color here from all these options. So those are your options for the note, and you also have some marker options too. So if you wanted to draw something, you could go ahead and draw. And I could press undo and press next. And then again, I could go ahead and press send. It'll get the same contacts. I could select the person, they'll get the check mark, and I get the send option right in the middle of the page. And one more thing I'll show you here on the video tab, you have filters as well, so you could apply filters to the way the video is going to record. And you have this cool effects tab too, so you could add some animation here on top of your video if you wanted to do that. Let me press X. And now I'm back to the home page. So again, to get to that page, you just have to slide down and you get to this messaging. But remember, we talked about two other things the app has to offer, which is one-on-one calls and video calls with a group up to 12 people. So to get to that, you just slide up instead of down. So if I slide up, I'm going to basically be able to create a group. So here, if I just press create group, it's going to let me pick from anybody that's connected to Duo.
So right now he's talking about using Duo as a group chat or a group messaging system. So right now he's pairing people up that he would like to connect on Duo all together, kind of like merging a call. And you can select up to 11 people on a single call or message group.
Including people I've invited on top. So on top, you wouldn't have anything if you haven't invited anyone on create a group. That's creating the group option, or you could make one-on-one calls. I'm going to show you a one-on-one call in a second, or you could go ahead and search or dial your contact. Basically, the way Google Duo is working is it's going to recognize people that are connected to Google Duo. Those are the people that are showing up here. Or if I slide all the way down, it has a different section called Invite to Duo, which are people not on Google Duo. And if you press invite, it will basically send them a text message to invite them. Again, I give it access to my contact. That's how it knows who has Google Duo and who I need to invite if I want to connect via Google Duo. Now, if they don't have Google Duo, I do have to invite them because the voice calls and the video calls, they all happen within Google Duo. So both people or the entire group has to have the app. They all take place in the app. You can't use Google.
Yeah, so again, he's raising a really good point here. To use Duo on your phone, both parties have to have Duo installed and have a Duo account. You won't be able to use Duo to call someone via FaceTime. It doesn't, it's not compatible that way. Both parties, of course, would have to have Duo to make the phone calls and to use the app.
Google Meet, for example, and talk to someone on Google Duo. They're separate apps. So again, back in the homepage, now let's say I wanted to just make a one-on-one call. I have already invited someone, and you'll see everybody here. You could slide through their names when you're invited. You don't have to slide up to get to the entire contacts. So when I have someone here on my recent call, I'll connect to them by clicking their name, and I'll come to this page where I could see who I'm talking to, their phone number here. I could send a heart right here too. Usually that's just in the center.
So sending a heart is basically, I don't know if any of you guys use Facebook, but way back when they used to have a poke button or like a nudge button that you could nudge someone to get their attention. Sending a heart is very similar. You can send a heart just to let somebody know that you're thinking about them. It's only going to send this heart emoji. So that person will just have the heart emoji pop up on their Duo. And they'll just see that you're like thinking about them, that that you would like to talk or whatever. It's not a hugely used feature.
But my main options are on the bottom again. I have voice call, I have video call, and I have the message icon. The message icon will take me back to that message page that I showed you in the very beginning. So I'm not going to do that here. We already went over. Let me go back. So I just press X back to the same page again. So here I would do a video call or I could do a voice call. I'm going to show you how the video call works. It's the same for making one-on-one calls or making group calls. And then I'll show you some useful settings again back in the home page. Now to make a call, I just got to press the video call. The voice call is pretty straightforward. So I'll show you the video call. There's some useful options there. And I have to wait for the other person to answer. Again, they could see what I'm doing here. Hey, and let me show you.
Yeah, and again, that's a really good point as well. So when you're calling someone via Duo, they will be able to see your screen before they answer. So if you're making funny faces at the screen as it's dialing out, they can see you. They can see you.
Show you some of the options on the bottom. You could turn off your video. That's the camera icon here. Now they can't see me. If I wanted to just be audio, I could turn off my audio if I wanted to just sit on mute and listen to a bigger group conversation. These options are also available for the group conversation. I could rotate my camera here. So now they could see what I'm seeing and I could rotate it back. The red one is obviously ending the call, but under the three dots here, there's some useful options. There's the low light mode that we set up in the settings, so I could turn that on or off here too. And there's the portrait mode, which blurs.
So low light mode is a feature that enhances the light if you are in a dark environment. So instead of seeing all black and not being able to see your features very well, the low light setting will help bring out those features and kind of balance that light for you.
My background to just make things a little bit nicer. I could turn that on and off. And Bluetooth is a useful option if you want to connect to headphones and take the call that way. And I'm going to go ahead and hang up now in the center. Bye. And it's going to ask me how the call quality was. That's going to show up every time. So I'll just give it a rating here. And that's pretty much it for the video call here. And again, you have voice call and messages here. Again, if you press voice call, it just dials this way.
Yeah, so voice call is like a typical phone where you're just going to call and you can only hear audio from both parties. Video call, of course, is video and audio. And the messages, like if they said in the beginning, are pre-recorded messages and they are not live.
Or I could leave a voicemail. I'll just hang up before they answer. And those are all the options for one-on-one calls or the group calls up to 12 people inside of.
All right, so did anyone have any questions about Google Duo?
Yeah, this is Eileen again, Alex. What I understand is the other party has to have the Duo app installed in order to communicate. Are
Yes.
Apple users able to use or install Duo?
Yes, so it's compatible across all devices.
All right.
Well, not all devices, but most devices, I guess I should say.
Okay, so as long as Apple phone users install the Duo,
Yes.
Android and Apple people can communicate through Duo, correct?
Correct.
Is there any other FaceTime, the concept of that app besides Duo that you can connect Apple and Android users?
So Google, the Duo is definitely the most popular. I'm sure that there are other ones that are probably not as popular or not as used, I guess. Regarding different types of video chats, of course, you have Zoom on your phone. You can download the Zoom app on your phone, and that will allow you to chat with other people as well, regardless of what device they have. And then we also have the Google Meet, MEET. Google Meet is another service similar to Zoom where you can have, I believe it's up to 15 people on a single call. And those are both things that you can download from the App Store and use on both devices. It looks like we have a chat. Oh, yes. And Skype is another option. So that was similar to Zoom as well. It's a little bit older of an app than Zoom. And then you have Facebook Video Messenger. Facebook Video Messenger, both parties would have to download the Messenger app for Facebook and have a Facebook account to utilize the Facebook Video Messenger.
Hi, Carolyn. This is Mel. How y'all doing? My question is, can you call internationally with the Duo app?
Yeah, I don't see why not. I believe the Duo app just kind of goes by the phone number. So it shouldn't be an issue for international calls, I don't believe.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So any other video chatting questions before we move on? Okay. No, don't play. Okay. So next up we have screen sharing. And the reason that I added this slide into this week's information was because I got quite a few questions about screen sharing from the other group. I'm not sure if anyone from this group asked about screen sharing, but I definitely wanted to share this information with you. So screen sharing is a feature on your device, whether it's your phone or your tablet, that allows you to mirror what's on your phone screen with a bigger screen like a smart TV. I will emphasize the fact that you have to have a smart device, a smart TV, to connect the two together. So I know some people have set it up with their Roku, but it has to be a smart TV or Roku, a smart device situation. So smart device to smart device only. So yeah, so on a Galaxy device, the screen mirroring feature is called Smart View. And in order to set that up, you would go ahead and go into your quick settings, which is your control center. I'm not sure why they call it quick settings on the Android, but it's really scrolling down from your control center, which we did in the first week. And then you would tap this icon that says Smart View. And then it's going to provide you with a list of available devices. And you would have to turn on your TV as well. So both devices would have to be on. And then if you click your TV device, it will ask you for a PIN, which your TV will provide you with that PIN. And then it will prompt you to connect that device with your smart TV. And now your device's screen should appear on the TV. And of course, you can switch back and forth between that device and another device as you choose. You can set up screen sharing with multiple devices in your house. So if you had a TV in the basement that you wanted to do screen sharing with, you could do that. And then you could also have the one upstairs in the living room. You won't lose access to one by pairing both. Screen sharing is used for several reasons. For example, if you just wanted to view something on a larger screen, screen sharing is a great way to do that because your TV is much larger than your 8-inch phone. You can also use screen sharing to share with a number of people. So instead of everybody crowding around looking at your small phone, you can just send it to the TV screen. And then everybody in the living room, whether you have like 5 or 6 people there, would all be able to see what's happening on your phone on the TV screen. So if you wanted to share pictures from a trip with a group of people, that would be a good way of doing so. Additionally, which is why I typically use screen sharing, is if I go over to my friend's house, I have the Hulu app or the Netflix app on my phone. And if my friend doesn't have Hulu or Netflix, it's okay because I can log into Hulu or Netflix on my device and screen share it onto the TV, and we can watch TV that way. Does anybody have any questions about Smart View or screen sharing? Okay. So next we have password and security. Real quick, I wanted to mention that if we are password and protecting our phone, that is great. That's a really good way to keep our personal information protected. And it's really recommended just in case you lose your phone or someone steals your phone, that information is protected. Now, I will say that if you are going to set up a PIN, a pattern, or a password, please write it down and keep it somewhere safe for you to refer back to. I would really hate for you guys to get locked out of your phone because you set up a password and then you forgot it. So yes, there are 4 different password options. And the one picture that we have here that has a whole bunch of dots and lines, that is a pattern protection. So given these 9 dots, you can draw any pattern that you would like. It will ask you to confirm it by drawing the pattern once more. And now every time you would like to unlock your device, you would simply swipe the pattern onto your phone. You also have a PIN. So the PIN can be a 4 to 6 digit PIN that you will then enter every time you would like to unlock your device. Again, you have a password, which is alphabetical instead of numerical. That will be an actual password that you're typing out with letters. And then we have Finger ID. And Finger ID is perhaps the most popular way of unlocking and locking your device. And that's because It's pretty quick and nobody else will be able to match your fingerprint to get into your device. You won't have to remember a PIN, a pattern, or a passcode to get into your device. It will be set up with your fingerprint. So here is my phone, and way at the bottom, it's very, very barely visible, but I have this kind of circular like symbol right here. And if I press my thumb to it, you see how it kind of lights up, right, like that? It's checking my thumb and then it logs me in. So to set up a password protection, you would go into your settings and you would scroll until you find security. You would tap security and you would touch screen lock, or it's going to ask you if you want a fingerprint, a password, a PIN, or a pattern. You will enter your password, PIN, pattern, or finger twice to confirm, and then your device will be password protected. Does anybody have any questions about password and security? All right, so next we have advanced settings. Oops, advanced settings. So when you go into your settings, you're going to see a bunch of different options here. So first we have our Google settings. Let me just follow along on my device. Yes, so first we have our Google settings, and that's just going to allow you to change and manage your Google account. You can also have it forget or remember your Google passwords. And next we have advanced features, which is motions and gestures. This is something that is not particularly used very often. There is an ability to make it one-handed mode for people with certain disabilities or functional limitations. And then next we have device care. So it will discuss your battery, storage, and memory. So on your device, it will talk about which apps are using the most battery on your device. So if you go into battery, it should show you a list of applications and how much battery they're using on a typical basis. If you wanted to do something about that, you could either delete the app or be okay with the fact that it's taking up a bunch of your battery if you find an application that is really draining your phone. We also have storage and memory. So again, your phone has a certain amount of storage capabilities, and you can expand the memory by either getting a chip installed into your phone that would expand your storage, or you could start deleting things off your phone that you no longer need, such as applications, photos, and text messages. You also have apps. So here, it will ask about default apps and apps permissions. Now, default apps for certain things. So if I wanted to open a picture or a PDF, for example, it's going to ask me how I would like to open this PDF and view it. There are a number of different apps that it's going to bring up that allows me to look at this PDF, but it's going to ask which one I would like to go to. And then when I click that, it's going to ask, do you want to set that as the default app for everything that's similar to this? You can edit your default apps, and how do you you can edit, your default apps and when to use them depending on what information you just gave to your phone. You also have app permissions. So certain apps are going to ask about your location, your contacts, your microphone, your video, if it is allowed to use those options for certain apps. Now, of course, if you're installing Duo, it's going to want to have access to your contacts. It's going to want to have access to your microphone and your camera, because that's for video calling. And it needs all of that information. But if you are downloading Amazon and it asks permission for your video and audio, you can always go into this app's settings and app permissions and turn off video and microphone permissions for Amazon, because it's not necessary. And then you also have general management, where we could edit the language, date, and time, and you can reset your phone. I would not recommend resetting your phone unless you're absolutely sure that you are totally fine with all of your memory being erased on your phone. It will delete everything. And then we have accessibility. So again, this is where you would find the assistant, the Bixby setup information here. For those with visual impairments, we have visibility enhancements and a screen reader. And for those with physical impairments, interactions and dexterity settings are also in here. And then lastly, we have our system updates. So this is how you're going to check if you have updates, which we will discuss in week 6. It's week 4 now, so in 2 weeks, we're going to talk a little bit more about updates and how to manually and automatically look for them. Any questions? All right, so I'm going to go over next week's agenda real fast. So next week, we will be talking about the, the Google Play Store, some icons that you should be aware of, as well as some more advanced applications. So applications that are not pre-downloaded into your phone, but applications you will have to download. And we'll briefly touch upon YouTube, Pandora, Samsung Health, Facebook, Kindle, Amazon, and the Shop applications. Next week, we do have quite a bit of information to get through. So I believe we're going to be starting right at 2 o'clock, right on time. And if any of you are running late, it's okay. Again, this information will be recorded and will be posted onto our YouTube page. Any questions? All right, well, thank you all for participating. It was great to see you, and I will see you for week 5. Have a nice weekend, everyone.